Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Magnus, and in this video we are going to check out Checkpoint's SMB appliances and how these can be used within a larger organization. Checkpoint have had SMB products for a long period of time, but personally I haven't found them powerful enough to actually be useful. It's first in the recent years that they were actually powerful enough to actually cope with all the bandwidth that you can buy in, well, in my case, in Sweden. So it's quite common that you can have 100 megabit and even 1 gigabit, and it's fairly cheap. So if you're going to run an appliance and a Checkpoint appliance, of course you want to use all the functionalities. But the older boxes, if you turned on everything, you couldn't get the speed out of as you wanted it. Even if you're in a small company, in a small store, in a small branch office, you still need like a 100 megabit connection to your place, because you still want to have centralized patching, you still want to have centralized resources. Maybe you want to use some cloud services. Maybe you have like displays that actually get pictures from a centralized service. You want to be able to reinstall your computer on site and not needed to send it up to headquarters, because let's face it, like a Windows installation, it's not 100 megs anymore, it's like 20 gigs. So you actually need some throughput to be able to do this locally at the offices and still have centralized managed. And I don't talk about Checkpoint centralized managed, I talk the IT department, it actually centralized and you have some centralized resources that you want to use. So the old SMB appliances from Checkpoint, they actually had trouble to reach this 100 megs, 200 megs if you turned on all the features. And if you buy a Checkpoint appliance, of course you want to have enabled IPS, anti-bot, antivirus, etc, etc. Before you had like the 1600, the 1100, they were not powerful enough. It's first like when it came to like the 750 appliance, and I would say that's 4 or 5 years old. And now it's even faster speeds, especially with 5G, especially with fibers. So everything is just increasing and the cost of the internet is going down. So why is this important for like cooperation? Well, in the last video we discussed sd-wan. sd-wan is something that is changing the landscape of how you actually building the provider network, or how you build your connectivity between your offices. And Checkpoint doesn't have an sd-wan solution, but they have many sd-wan-like features that they have that you can actually use. If you want to see more about this, you can click on the link above, and I talk like 30 minutes about Checkpoint's sd-wan strategy and what I think about it. But one thing when it comes to the sd-wan, it's the possibility to have centralized management. That's like the key feature that everyone wants. Checkpoint have had this for years, and even if you use the SMB product, you can still use your on-prem management, you can use your cloud-based management, so you don't need to use the localized managed on the box itself. You can have it centralized managed, you can have zero-touch provisioning and everything like that, so you can have quite advanced and cool features. The second part of sd-wan is to be able to, well, to send specific traffic one way and other traffic a different way. And in this case, I would say like you send your corporate traffic to your VPN and you send your internet surf to, well, your local internet. And that way you're saving some traffic that doesn't need to go centralized, and you can still have all the protection in these SMB boxes. They still have IPS, URL filtering, application control and all of that. So you can still have the protection. And with the new SMB appliances, they actually manage to have all of this protection in a quite high level when it comes to throughput. So if you check out like what type of SMB appliances does actually exist within Checkpoint, well, we have the new Quantum Spark appliances. And you have a lot of fancy stuff here that you can read and how to manage them, what they are able to do, and all in one solution. But let's skip all of that and just check the boxes. So if we scroll down, so here we have the Quantum Spark family of appliances. And you see here, you have two new ones. So the largest one can actually cope with 2 gigs of Gen 5 protection. That means more or less all the functions that the Checkpoint appliance can offer. and you can still press 2 gigs of traffic in it. That's what I call an SMB appliance. This is really nice. This is something that was missing from Checkpoint for a long period of time. You needed to go to the big fat appliances to be able to press 2 gigs of traffic, and then you have the cost of a big fat appliance. So these appliances, because they are, well, Gaia light, so to say, they still have all the features like the blades and so on, but you cannot do exactly everything that you can do on a normal Gaia appliance. But do you need that in all offices? So what's my point of all of this? So if you're going to build like an sd-wan like network across multiple locations, then you need an appliance box in each and single office or store or warehouse or where you want to place them. Meaning you can need hundreds of them if you're going to build like an sd-wan like connection between everything you have. And to be honest, we all have budgets. So maybe for the smaller offices where you have 10, 15 people, do you really need a full-blown appliance, or can you manage with this type of SMB appliance? You can still do them in cluster. You can still have them centralized managed. You can still have all the functionalities, meaning IPS, anti-bot, antivirus, and so on the box. And now you are able to have a lot of throughput on them as well. So if you're facing like, yeah, we're going to restructure our complete network, take this into consideration that you can actually have SMB appliances mixed with the normal appliances, mixed with the cloud-based one, mixed with open servers. One doesn't remove the other one. So if you're going to have a lot of appliances and if you're going to have a lot of sites, scale it accordingly. And these new SMB appliances, I think they give the possibility to actually do this. I mean, now you have the possibility to do 2 gigs of traffic in an SMB appliance. That's perfect. And if we just check here, we have different type of ports. And just a new thing that hasn't existed on the SMB appliances before, and it hasn't existed on the small appliances before either. That's this one. So if we check the full spec for the 1800 appliance, so let's zoom in here. So here is the PDF for it. So we just scroll by the normal SMB stuff. And here you can see like the port density of it. So you have 16 ports with copper, 1 gig. You have 2 ports with 2.5 gigs Ethernet. Then you have a DMZ that is 10 gig copper or SFP. Then you have a WAN that is 1 gig copper or fiber. I don't know if this is a typo or if Checkpoint just missed something, but why wouldn't you put 10 gig interface on the WAN connection? That's just a bit strange. But you see here the DMZ is for 10 gigs, either copper or fiber, but the WAN, according to this spec, it's 1 gig. And as it's 2, you can have 2 different service providers if you want, and then you can do some link select and route-based VPNs and so on, so it's quite cool. So let's scroll down more here. This is the app that you can have if you're running the normal SMB management. You cannot have this app if you're running it in the normal management. I use this sort of stuff at home. Then I have this app and it's quite nice. Then I get an alert of when someone is connecting to the network. So I use it quite a lot. So here you have an overview of the appliances, the 1600 and 1800 as well. And one more thing when it comes to this one, you still have like the larger ones redundancy. So it has dual power supplies and it has multiple fans. So this is not the silent box, it has fans. But if you're using a 1 gig connection to a branch office, I just expect you to have a server rack somewhere in the basement or in the back where you can place all this stuff. So what is actually missing from this box? Well, I think it's a shame that they don't have PoE. I would love to see PoE in an SMB appliance, in more or less all SMB appliances actually, because you want to be able to have like VoIP phones or access points or something like that, so you still need to have a switch with your PoE. So the Checkpoint SMB appliances doesn't offer this. I also think it's really strange that they don't have a 10 gig WAN connection, so you have at least the possibility to get this 10 gig connection. Maybe they needed to cut it somewhere, but the PoE would be nice. And you can see here, according to software, it has all the nice features that you expect. And I think that's it for this video. I just wanted to put this in your head that you can actually use the SMB appliances in a larger organization. This can be a great way to actually save some money if you're building an sd-wan-like network across a larger organization. So you can save some money in the smaller offices and still have all the functionalities that you actually need when it comes to security and throughput. So, well, I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.